Today I am going to tell you something more about this collective nature that comes to you through Sri Ganesha's efforts, or we can say his powers. Somebody told me that Einstein has already made a story like that. It's a discovery that if you all become cool, that is under the Sri Ganesha's blessing, then we all become one. That's his theory. But we also had Phil Ward here, who established that when you cool down the helium gas, all the molecules, or you can call them atoms, they start moving in a collective way. Otherwise, they are hitting each other, they are beating each other, and they are running helter and skelter. In the same way, when we have Sri Ganesha's blessings within us, in the real sense of the word, with our wisdom, then what happens? We become very much evolved Sahajogis. Evolved Sahajogis means they have become one. One means what? One means they all live for each other. They enjoy each other. They see the comfort of each other. For example, the people who are very rich, people who are very poor, people who are sick, people who are healthy, all of them combine together as one. In Sanskrit, it is called ekakarita. They become one. And this oneness shows in your celebrations. When you all come here, you try to help each other. All the time, I've seen. Nobody minds helping each other. I've seen people enjoying each other. They do not want to hurt anyone. On the contrary, they want to be helpful and sensible with each other. Most of your leaders have chosen who are very wise, who avoid problems, who do not get into panics. Most of them, I should say. And when, you see, even you people try to destroy Sahajoga, they know you are doing it. So to find out this ekakarita, you have to go deep down into yourself, by which you will feel that you are all one. Whether you are here, or you are in Japan, or in America, anywhere, you all think the same way, you all help the same cause, and you try to be the same style. I have seen people when they come for the pujas, so many of them, how they enjoy each other's company, how they try to help each other. Somebody who is, say, in Russia, or say in Bulgaria, anywhere, he will write to me about the problem he has, something. So somebody from America, without I inform him, without any information, immediately writes to me, Mother, such and such a person is there in Russia. Will you be able to send that person to America? Most of the time it happens like this. Well, I don't tell them. I never ask them. Even if I ask, suddenly there will be response from so many people, from so many countries. Mother, this is the problem? All right, we'll go and do it. For that, I must say, Austrians are very sensitive people in this respect. This ekakarita. They went all the way to Jerusalem, to help the people, to get them realized. I wanted to go to Jerusalem, but this bombing business may not allow me to go. But the Jerusalem people, I found them to be much more collective, because they came to Egypt. I said, why have you come here? Make friends with the Muslims of Egypt. Just imagine, I was surprised. How could they come here? No, just to make friends. They are Muslims, so we want to make friends with them. So making friendship without any ulterior motive, without any gain is one of the signs of your ekakarita. Not only that you are satisfied with other Sahajogis, but you want to bring other Sahajogis in. So many have done that. This is something so nourishing. So we have to understand how Sri Ganesh brings balance in us. It's very important to see that his swastika represents nothing else but balance. Balance when it is steady. When it starts moving in the right direction, then constructive work starts, and also it works out all that is important for life. But when it starts the other way around, it works out the destructive part. These both are in balance. If they are not, life cannot go on. The constructive and destructive both have to be in balance. See in nature. If you see in the nature, for example, a bud has to come, and when the bud dies, then the fruit comes out. The tree has to evaporate its water to the sky. If it does not, then it won't rain. It won't trigger the rain. But during winter season, it has to drop out its leaves, because these leaves have to die and fall onto the ground to nourish the mother nature with nitrogen. Then during summertime, again they come back. So the life goes on like this, that whatever is created is destroyed, something new comes up, again that new thing also comes up in a way that it becomes constructive, and then whatever it has constructed, part of it is destroyed. So actually, if you see, in the death resides the life. If there is no death, imagine if all the people who are born since long would have been living today, we would not have been here. It would have been so difficult to manage ourselves with all these people. But so many animals have died, and those animals also have become human beings. So many human beings have to die to get other people to come on this earth, and that you have to take some rest and come back again. So the death is just a change of life. Without death, life cannot exist. It's a balance between the two. So a Sahajogi should never be afraid of death. He should never be afraid of death. Because if he is going to die, it is only going to be another life where he rests for a while and comes back with greater enthusiasm, with greater energy. So there is a complete balance in nature. If you see, if there was no balance, we could not have existed. Supposing the earth was moving with a greater speed, we would not have existed. If the Pacific Ocean was deeper even by certain feet, we would not have existed. So many things are completely in balance. The distance with the sun, the distance with the moon, everything is so much in balance. If this balance breaks, then we would be nowhere. So we have to understand that all this is done by Sri Ganesha. He is the one who looks after all the material things and all the things that are created. For example, the first chakra is created by this Mother Earth, and all this universe then is created by the second chakra. But the first chakra is the one which emits the holiness, the auspiciousness, which gives balance. Auspiciousness comes only through balance. So I find people, when they have lost their balances, they go to the right or to the left. People are very righteous, extremely righteous, very good Sahajogis, nice, but there is no love. Without love, righteousness has no meaning. Love doesn't mean that you indulge into anything, but you must have detached love and responsibility. So in our life, we should see if we have that balance or not. It's very important if we have to see Sri Ganesh. Sri Ganesh, as you know, is on Muladhara. He controls all our senses as far as the Muladhara is concerned, especially all the excretion. So we are not people who believe in the indulgence of it, neither we believe in the detachment of it, but in the balance. That's why you all have to be married, you have to have a proper physical life, and that you should have proper children and lead a very sensible, dignified married life. That is very important. But love should be there. There should be love between husband and wife, between children and parents and everyone. If one person goes into imbalance, the whole family goes into imbalance. To establish a family sweetly and nicely is also an art. And if both of them agree and say that we will do this way, I'm sure it's not difficult because you are Sahajogis, you are already know the quality of balance. In the human being, it exists, as you know, as auspiciousness, as purity, mainly the innocence. So, the power of innocence is such a guiding factor. There's a difference between ignorance and innocence. If you are innocent, then to you, nothing is important except for love. For an innocent person who is not conditioned, who is not egoistical, who is not so called mature, it is the love that it understands. It doesn't care for any wealth, any power, anything, but the love that it can feel the pure love of a person. Innocent person has no understanding of gaining anything out of the love he receives or he gives. No sense at all. Innocence is the basis of all the dharmas. If you have no innocence, you cannot follow dharma. Because if you are dharmic, it is maybe a mental attitude, maybe egoistical, maybe because you are born in a religion, because somebody has told you about it. It's going to be very superficial. Unless and until it is embedded in the quality of innocence, dharma has no meaning. In that state, you are dharmic. You are beyond any thinking about it, of any deductions about it, but you are dharmic. You cannot be a dharmic. You cannot be. As if the manifestation of innocence is morality. Once Sri Ganesha is awakened, I hope he has been awakened in all of you. And if you respect him, just respect him, then automatically you develop a sense of morality. I don't have to tell you, I don't have to explain to you. You just become moral. People who have seen you are quite amazed and said that, how is it that their eyes are fixed, so innocent, without any lust and greed? Is the light of Sri Ganesha from the back agya, front agya, is Jesus Christ, who is the manifestation of Sri Ganesha. Now, for the other Sajogis who are grown up and who are very mature, they are very innocent, I must say. I must admit that they're very innocent compared to the society that is around, no doubt. One has to really admire the way they have become so innocent, the way they are understanding this divine music and all that is really creditable. But still, this innocence, if it is not spread, if this innocence doesn't work out, then it will rust. You will not grow. Your IQ will be less than the others, I can tell you this. They are growing in materialism, all right. Their IQ is growing in materialism. But your IQ will not grow unless and until you spread this innocence around. Now you know how to do it. It is the power of Kundalini with the help of Sri Ganesh. He helps you at every chakra. I have written that he is the vice chancellor of every university where he has to stamp. He is at every point. But you have to understand that this has to spread. It has to become collective. It has to flow. So, to become that, what should we do ourselves? That we should try to organize programs. While people will be enamored by your innocence, no doubt, they'll be surprised. How are you so innocent? How can you be so nice in these modern times? No doubt about it. But in that, doing that so, try to be innocent yourself. You should not be cunning, you should not be smart. You should not try to show that you are very brilliant or anything. Because the ego might in between come and try to put ideas into your head. It's better to show that you're innocent and to be innocent inside. The whole inner being can be really charged with the energy of Sri Ganesh, no doubt. And the outer life becomes innocent. Becomes innocent. I mean, I don't know banking, I don't know money, I'm quite bad at everything, all right, at worldly things. But I'm not cunning, I'm not sort of smart, you can say. But still things are working out because of the inner power that one has. So depend on your inner power and manifest it outside. Inner being, which is Ganesha, is the same in all of us. The whole system is the same in all of us. Chakras are the same in all of us. Only thing we have to keep our innocence absolutely free of all this worldly nonsense like a fashion, this, that. Immediately you will find that your being will manifest. Being will manifest. So now, what should we do to keep this Ganesha all the time shining within us is to first remember that you were made in the same pattern as Sri Ganesha. But his Kundalini is on his stomach. His pure desire is on his stomach. It's very significant to understand why it is there that his Kundalini is on his stomach. That means he does not have to conquer the temptations of Muladhara at all. But he has his Kundalini on his stomach. That means he is also beyond the temptations of food, of power, or anything. Because his stomach represents absolute abandonment, absolute freedom. He is not bothered as to how he looks, that these days there's a big fashion that you cannot have a big belly. I mean, this is becoming a big, not only fashion, but a big business. But as age grows, you have to have. Even small children have that, and they look so sweet. Those people who are very thin must understand that they might be getting some prizes in the maybe beauty contest or something, but they do not have that majesty, that royalty, that dignity in them as they should have. So Sri Ganesha accepts everything. He has a head with a trunk. He accepts it. Of course, it's important, he should have that, because head of the elephant suggests that he is not like a human being who develops ego, superego, conditionings, but he is just all the time one with the divine. He accepts his body, he accepts his head, he accepts his ears, he accepts everything that he is made of. He doesn't aspire to something. Some entrepreneurs put some ideas and he won't go run after them. He won't try to change himself. He won't try to create that fashion and all that. He is what he is. Because he is a satisfied soul. The Kundalini on the stomach shows a complete, self-contented, satisfied personality of Sri Ganesha. When you have all the powers within you, you know you are powerful, then you don't hanker after all these things. And you don't try to make a position or an impression of others. For example, he would never go and read books like how to impress people. Very common. So now as you are created in the same image of Sri Ganesh, you have to understand that you have to accept whatever God has given. Whatever position he has given you. Same with Christ. Christ accepted his father who was just a carpenter. He didn't aspire for something higher or some sort of a special position or a power, because he was so powerful. What more power can he have? Though people mocked at him and laughed at him and could not accept what he was saying, but still he was self-contented, self-satisfied. He knew what it was. So for a Sahaja Yogi, first thing is to be self-content. As I told you, the fundamentals of the Western life is to see and to be seen. Both things were missing completely in the incarnation of Sri Ganesha. So when I say these things, suddenly people start thinking, let us become hippies, or let them become punks, let us become this, let us become that. You don't have to become anything. Whatever you have, your body, your face, your hair, everything is there, just meant for you. You don't have to change anything outwardly, because inside is complete Chaitanya. Sri Ganesha never tried to change himself. Questions you ask, because I am going away now. So you can ask me some questions if you have.
Why is there evil, or why was evil created? And suffering.
Now, evil was created by human beings. God did not create. When you started growing, you had freedom. In your freedom, you created evil forces. You wanted to have evil. You are always attracted toward evil even now. If there is an evil, you will go to him much more than you will come to me, because you have to become him. Then you just pay some money, you are very happy as long as you give some money to the person. As long as you pay, and the person says, all right, I'll take you to heaven, you believe such a man, because very easy, convenient, just pay the money in the slot, you are there, very good idea. Because of the ignorance of human beings, they created evil. But you can get rid of it. Then this evil starts controlling other people who are trying to rise above it. Yes, it does. It tries to attack, and thus the evil grows. If you are not strong, it can attack. It attacks, and you take to it. I don't know why human beings take to evil. I just don't know. I can't understand. I just can't understand. Even if I tell them, after realization I've seen people go to it. They are so much enamored by evil that you can't see what is it. You have come from this matter, and matter attracts you. The deadening qualities attract you. I was told that there are some groups here which are working out your evolution downward. You want to learn from animals. You want to learn from fishes. You want to become like animals. What can help you? Because you are free. God cannot get over your freedom. He has granted it to you. He has to respect it. But you must respect also. Freedom doesn't mean license. And if you do not respect your freedom, you can go ahead with it. What can you do? He has given you freedom. Once granted, you cannot take it back.
The Kundalini tries to be the evil, or what effect has on the evil thought?
Does Kundalini combat the evil, or what effect does it have on the evil?
When it becomes light, the darkness goes away. When you are enlightened, darkness doesn't come. It's not there. You develop your discretion. Evil runs away. If evil comes to know that there's an enlightened person going, it won't come. Absolutely. If Sri Ganesha is within you, become like a child. Childlike innocence. You don't get angry with somebody like a dog barks on you. There are some Sahajogis I know who all the time barking, just like dogs or beggars in India. But you become like a child who is very sweet. He always tries to amuse you, always tries to say nice things, always tries to make you feel happy. A source of such joy. And that's how you become a source of joy, source of happiness, source of fulfillment. All the time bubbling with laughter and happiness, bubbling with beautiful things. How the children amuse you, just see and watch. How they come round with little hands, how they work it out. How they know what is the right thing. A child who is a realized soul is much more sensible than a grown-up person. I've seen that. Like my youngest granddaughter was about, I think, 3 years of age. And the maid was folding my sari. And by mistake she put it on the ground. This child just couldn't bear it. She just lifted the sari, put it to her head and put it on the sofa. She said, "What do you mean by putting this sari on the ground? What do you know about my grandmother? She is the goddess of goddesses. And you put her sari on the ground. The dogs are going to bite you now," she said. "Be careful." And she again went and took the sari, kissed it. I said, "Mother, forgive her. Grandmother, please forgive this woman. She doesn't know what she's done to you." But that sensitivity comes from the depth of your chastity. You listen to the children and you'll be amazed how they talk and what they say, how they behave, how they try to amuse you. I mean, in the West, children are very much spoiled, I must say. They do not amuse you so much, they trouble you quite a lot. Because, again, the same thing. If the father and mother don't have chastity, the children don't feel all right. They don't feel peaceful. They become restless. And then they develop the same restlessness within us. A chaste man can never get possessed. Take it from me. Can never get possessed. You might be very intelligent, you might be anything, you might be a great writer, but you can get possessed. But a chaste man, an ordinary chaste person, can never get possessed. Bhoots are afraid of chaste people. If one chaste person is going on the road, all the bhoots run away. They just run away. At least, I have known many cases, but some of them I can tell you that there were 2, 3 of them who used to go by motorcycle in the night about 12 o'clock on a road. And some people who were possessed wrote letters to me saying that please don't allow them to go there in the night, because where should we go and stay? I was amazed. These are the people who are possessed by some sort of horrible bhoots, who used to go and rest on these trees in the night, where these 3 persons used to go on the motorcycle. And they actually wrote letters to me. Very possessed people, I knew them, saying that ask them not to go that way, because it's where are we to live? And they were like mad people themselves. I said, why did you write like this? He said, these people go that way and they trouble us. And the negative within us disappears with the light of Sri Ganesh. You can see it so clearly in another person. If you don't have chastity, you can never see who is unchaste or chaste. You cannot. Everybody is just the same, very good, very nice person, very nice person. I mean, real possessed people are certified as very good people. In Sahaja Yoga also sometimes. And I start wondering what's happening. See, what is it? How is it these people are certified as that? Can't they feel it? There's no light. Even if you get your realization, even if your spirit is working out, your collective consciousness, even if you are giving self-realization to others, you are nowhere if you have no chastity. Humility is the main thing one has to understand. And you will be surprised the humility is called as Vinay, which is the quality of Sri Ganesha. Vinayaka. Vidya Vinayena Shobhati. Vidya means the knowledge is only decorated with humility. So the humility you saw yesterday of these great artists and the great gurus who were there. The Guru invited me to his academy and he made all kinds of offerings as they would do to a goddess. I was so much touched. The ready acceptance of me and of Sahaja. Even this Kalakshetra, which was dominated by Theosophical Society, though this lady didn't bother so much about Theosophical Society, and she had created this big auditorium and all that, and everything she dedicated to art, she didn't allow Theosophical Society to enter into it. Despite all that, how they accepted me, all of them, you can see so clearly their devotion and understanding. To be humble with a saint is absolutely an unwritten law of this country. And a saint is not to be challenged, not to be dominated. Whatever the saint says must be accepted. So the first quality that Ganesha should give us is Vinay. Vinay meaning the humility. The humility is not superficial. Like we go on saying, sorry or excuse me, I'm afraid. Not that way. It's not vachik. It's not just lip service. But from within, the humility has to come. Now the humility is, of course, is always marked by ego. And the ego just keeps you afloat. And you never understand that you have been egoistical. Even when I talk about ego, people think that mother is saying about somebody else there. They never think it's me who has this ego. So Ganesha is the killer of ego. Because humility is the only thing that really can neutralize your ego. To humble down yourself, you have to see what. For example, in this country you have come very simple people, you see, living very simply. They don't have all these sophisticated things around them. Eating with their hands, eating on the plantain leaves, you see. And according to certain ladies who have lived here, the Westerners, they think they are all primitive. But see the way they have developed this art. This kind of swiftness and this kind of, even jumping this kind, you cannot achieve. Now, what is the reason for this kind of working? Is humility towards art. Art is to be respected. A guru is to be respected. Respect is the only way to learning anything. That is sort of ingrained in an Indian blood, I think. That you must obey your guru implicitly. Implicitly. And this guru is training so many people there, so many girls there. Not for anything but just to express his art. He doesn't get much money, I could see that. They have very little provision, and also he doesn't charge too much. But the dedication he has is like the dedication of Sri Ganesha to his mother. And the way he is completely drawn into it. All other things are not important. So for humility, you have to withdraw your attention from other things. This is an extremely important thing. If your attention is going to your other problems, this, that, or if you are trying to come to Sahaja Yoga through other channels, it's not going to work out. You have to humble down in your heart. Absolutely humble down. He's innocent, that's why he's humble. If you are not innocent, then you cannot be humble. Sign of innocence is humility. Last time you had asked me for Guru Pada. And you should know that the essence of Guru is Sri Ganesha, the innocence. You must be knowing the story of a very devoted wife, faithful wife of a Sati. Her name was Anasuya. And she was so religious and so dedicated that they say that the wives of all the gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, got very jealous of her. So they told their husbands that you must go and test her if she is really a woman with chastity or not. So all of them came down as sadhus, dressed up like sannyasis. And she said she wanted to serve them, give them something. They said, no, we want to have food. She said, all right, come and sit down. She cooked food for them. So they said, no, we will not have the food unless and until you take out all your clothes. We'll only have the food if you take out all your clothes. She said, is it so? She said, yes. So she made them into little children, 3 little children. And then she became nude. Because innocent doesn't understand anything about it. And then she joined them together. Their 3 innocents was joined together. And they got their Gurupad. That's how the Adi Guru was created. So the first thing is that if you want your Gurupad, you have to be innocent. Innocent is a very vague term, very vague. And difficult to really understand what is innocent. But what is the nature of innocence that we can understand from Sri Ganesha's image. First of all, he is endowed with wisdom. And he puts wisdom into us. It's a nice thing now in modern times we have discovered genetics. And genetics determine our behavior and our races. It is he who puts genetics in us. He selects and puts it within us, our genetics. And when he puts wisdom in us, then we are wise. There is definitely a genetic of wisdom, which is lacking, as we can see very clearly in many races. They have no wisdom. They do things without wisdom. They do things just for their destruction, destroying their society. They may call themselves the highest society, highest races, whatever it is. You may brand yourself with anything, but you can see from their behavior that they have no wisdom at all. So he is the one who puts that wisdom in us. In some people who are not yet evolved, certain races are not yet evolved to that extent, this wisdom is lacking. Apart from that, this wisdom gives us the sense of freedom. So we keep aloof from all kinds of intoxicant, all kinds of bad habits. We don't like to look at nudity. It can never become lifestyle of people who have wisdom. Never. We don't indulge into extramarital nonsense. Whatever is absolutely in the center, which is dharmic, we accept. So we can see that the seed of wisdom put into us makes us dharmic people when we grow, automatically. We are automatically dharmic. We don't kill others, we don't aggress others, we don't torture others, we do not occupy anybody else's land or house or take away anything, another's property or another's things. This wisdom comes to you through Sri Ganesh. In short, he makes you absolutely ready for self-realization.
When there are Sahaj Yogis together, if they live together, when they recite mantras and when they sing the praise of God, when they say prayer to God, the atmosphere itself changes. There is a change in the metabolism of the whole atmosphere that you can feel by the working of it. If you try that, supposing some Sahaj Yogis go and visit a country where there is a lot of strife is going on, problems are going on, immediately you'll find there will be a balance established, there will be peace established only by the presence of the Sahaj Yogis. That is how you realize how in so many ways the self manifests itself when we become identified with it. Why is it that so far the self has not identified? Because it had no vehicle. You provide the vehicle, and that's how the self becomes knowledgeable to you. You get the knowledge of the self, and you give that knowledge as vibrations to others. There are so many things one can say about self-realization, which you can tell from your own experience, how you have been able to know and verify various things. Now take the case of Pat. He didn't know much of Indian music. He had never studied them, had never heard it. But now he is understanding the beauty of that music. And he knows what is going on in that music. In the same way, an Indian who has never heard English music, say your symphonies, he doesn't understand what is the beauty in it, because that has come from the unconscious. And now, once he becomes self-realized, he immediately recognizes the unconscious, the joy-giving unconscious, which is hidden in those beautiful notes, which are beautifully woven and integrated through the instrument of that artist who has created it. Now, whether he is an Indian, whether he is a German or an English makes no difference. But the unconscious has used that vehicle, but that has been used partially. Sahaj Yogi can immediately make out which note is not good, which is striking, which is too much heavy, which is not in balance, which is creating a disharmony, because he is now an instrument which records, judges, and also emits that what is reality, which is joy-giving. I have to again stress one more very important aspect of self-realization. Self exists in the heart of human beings. I mean, it is reflected in the heart. So a Sahaj Yogi who is realized and is depending on his heart, or is trying to enrich his heart, is definitely a more sensitive person. By rationality, by intellectual pursuits, of course, you can accept Sahaj Yoga better. But a person who can feel it through the heart, the feeling of oneness with your heart, surrendering yourself to your heart, humbling down your intellect before your heart, that's the temple of the self. When it enlightens the heart is reflected in the brain. When the integration between heart and brain is completely established, then a complete integration between your intellect and the self takes place. That is when you start getting the knowledge from the self. This is at a later stage, when you start receiving knowledge from self. Not only the discriminatory knowledge, but knowledge of all the things. Whatever you want to know will be there. You just become a sort of a panoramic screen, and you are surprised how the unconscious is throwing everything on your brain, and you are surprised what knowledge. Oh Lord, such a lot I am knowing just through this. And when you start seeing it, you are not afraid of ignorance or of ignorance, because you see that so clearly thrown before your vision of awareness that you start recording it and seeing it, tallying it, verifying it, and using it with all the confidence. And that is the time I feel that Sahaj Yogi understands much more.
And I sometimes feel that anger comes through too much austerity, too much of extreme nature also. Some Sahaj Yogis are extremely austere about everything. It's maddening. In Sahaja Yoga, everything is Sahaj, is spontaneous. You are not to be austere. You should not be particular. I said now it's not better not to wear a black sari or something, if I say so. Then it doesn't become a sentence from Brahma. Supposing then somebody is wearing a black sari and coming, you will all run away from that person. Or black clothes. It's not that. You are gurus yourself. Why should you be afraid of any kind of person who comes to you, whether it is black, white, or any type? Why should you have any fear? The another side of temper is fear. A man who is hot-tempered always have fear because he sees himself in others. He sees that another person also must be having the same kind of temper and he'll attack me. So he is always on the protective. In a Sahaj manner, what we do is to live without fear. He said that wages of sin is fear. But I would say wages of anger. Those people who were very aggressive, say, for example, develop frights. All kinds of frights. Those countries who have invaded other countries and rule other countries and have got the experience of their ego, of their anger, become extremely frightened people. Especially the soldiers who go on the war, kill so many people and come back and they are frightened. I asked one of them in America, I said, what are you frightened of? He said, I feel that I have killed so many people, now so many will kill me. But I said, why do you think like that? Why should anybody kill you? He says, because why did I kill others? Why did I kill others? Because I killed others. So anybody can kill me, isn't it? Without rhyme and reason. Logically, I agreed. But his fear was so much that when he came in my presence, he was just shaking. The whole body was shaking with fear. So, whatever aggression we do, boomerangs on us and we become very frightened about everything. In Sahaj, you witness yourself as a separate identity. All your past is finished, gone, you are not bothered. And you remain in a state which is fearless. This state has to be achieved through Sahaja Yoga. Very easy once you know that you are protected, you will have no fear, and as you will have no fear, you will not have also temper. It works vice versa sometimes. It's a very common thing I've seen. A very aggressive person will be described by a psychologist as a man of insecurity. It's nice to say that, but it's not true. He makes everybody insecure, then how can he be insecure? If another person feels insecure with that person, that means this man is not insecure, but he is over-secured. If you tell him that, then only he will improve. But if you say you have insecurity, then he thinks, yes, my condition is pitiable. Even if I kill somebody, it's all right, because my condition is pitiable. Such arguments work out in such a manner that you become convinced about yourself. But if you see as a witness, you see, what have I done so far? Have I been able to conquer myself? Sahaja Yoga is not to conquer others or to control others, but to conquer yourself. If you have not done that, you can be self-certified, oh, I've been so yogi, I've been so great, I've been this, that makes no difference. Have you completely transformed yourself, changed yourself, and now, in your presence, do people feel secure? If they feel insecure, then something wrong with you. Or if you feel insecure, also there's something wrong with it. Now, this excuse to give that, Mother, I am insecure, then you are not a Sahaja Yogi. As simple as that. Giving explanation like that shows you are not even a Sahaja Yogi. So, when we become the spirit, our attention becomes, as I said, active, knowledgeable. That is, our central nervous system gets a new awareness in it, a new dimension that we call as collective consciousness. Is described by Jung, thank God he has described it, though he was a scientist, he has described that at a higher awareness we'll become collectively conscious. Means we'll be conscious about ourselves, no doubt. We'll have self-knowledge. We'll know all about our centers, but we'll also know the centers of others. We'll know them in their subtle being, not how they look, how they dress up, not these external things, but internally we'll know what's their problem, what are their centers. We can feel them on our central nervous system. We can feel them on our fingertips. Muhammad Sahib has described that at the time of your resurrection, at the time of Qiyamah, your hands will speak and will give witness against you. Means they'll tell you what's wrong with you. You will know this is wrong, that is wrong. And once you know how to correct it, once you know how to correct the exhaustion of these centers, then you can completely get cured of malfunctioning of these centers.
In dharma, in sustenance, we get happiness about it. When we try to be nice to someone, we get happiness out of it. But some people who are supposed to be dharmic can be horrid, so boring that you would like to run away from such people all your life. They are supposed to be very religious people. They get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, torture everyone around. Then they do their arti, rubbing of what you call the sandalwood. Then having a bath with a big stotra going on. Everybody must wake up. Maybe the mother has slept very little. She is looking after her children or something going on. They must disturb everyone saying that they are dharmics. Very hot-tempered, angry people. This dharma can be neutralized in a very, very simple way. That dharma is your own concentration. Inward. Like you want to donate something to someone, it's just between you and God. There is no expression of it outside at all. If you are honest, God save me from many honest people, I tell you. Some of the so-called honest can be so blunt that you cannot go near them. They think if they are honest, then they have a right to cut everybody's throat. Spashta Vakte. इत्यादी इत्यादी. आपल्या मराठा शाहीमध्ये पुष्कळ आहेत अशी उदाहरण. मी एवढ्यासाठी मराठीत नाही बोलत की मी वाहते. In Marathi language, you see, we have beautiful names for such people, you see, who are karmathas and absolutely dandeshahi, we call them, dandadhari. Such a pandit, if he is going from this side, go from the other side of the road. Otherwise, he might just hit you hard. You ask him, what is it? Why did you hit me hard? Because you are not supposed to take your parting to that extreme of the head. Mataji has said the parting should be in the center. But it is for you, I have said it, not for anybody else. It should be concentrated on yourself. The dharma is for ourselves. Mataji has said, I am surprised sometimes at what I am saying. So many people have this bad habit of going around saying, Mataji has said that this should be done. Mataji has said this should be done. I don't know if I have said it or not. But why do you say? You should say, I say. Why don't you say that I say as Sahaj Yogi? But it is all your own. It's your own clearing that is important in dharma and not anybody else's. There's a relationship between you and your guru, direct. Supposing you come and tell me something that Mataji, this is between you and me. That is between you and me, though I'm not bound by it, not at all. If it is necessary, I may speak it out. But 99% I'll keep it that as a secret. So it is the secrecy of your own dharma. The beauty of it is like this. You see the subtleties. Sukshmat Bhaga. If you are a dharmic man, it's so sweet, you know. Suddenly you find this shine appearing, like a diamond suddenly, with all the facets. Suddenly you find a person, oh, what a beautiful man. But you are not looking after yourself, looking after everybody's dharma. Then the same thing will happen. That the joy of dharma will only will be felt if you limit it to yourself. That cannot be shared. Virtues cannot be shared. Can I share my virtues with you? I cannot. You can support it. Somebody has a virtuous man, then you can support it. But the joy of that dharma, that rasa falling into your heart, nobody else can enjoy it. You enjoy your own chastity. If the whole world is all right and then you are going to feel all right, then what's the use of having this light? Just think of this. That we'll say that all right. I am the light and I have to give light, I am a realized soul. But when all the lights are all right, then only I will be with them. So what a light and a half, what's the use of having such a light? We should have such lights that can go in the darkness and finish the darkness. That light is the light of dharma within us. It is not how many times you meditate, how many times you sit in the water, put your feet in the water, or use my photograph, or what you do and all these rituals. It is not that. It is how much dharma is within your heart. Sharayu's mother is another very great example of that dharma. There are so many of them, but I am mentioning all the senior people because you don't feel jealous of them much. So try to imbibe the dharma within yourself. And then you will see eventually you will become a very generous hearted person, very generous hearted, because you will start tolerating everyone.